Hey guys, Joshua Peterson here, Peterson Electric, to try to do one good video for you here a week. It is almost 2 weeks before Christmas 2019. If my SEO guy putting the video on YouTube, it's going to be based on a spa. This is not a normal spa that you buy and set. This is a spa that was designed 20 years ago inside of an addition. The home is 50 years old, but they put on an addition on the other side of it with a tub in the cement, so it's a shell that came in, and then they built in, I wish I could show you, but I'm not going to do that today. But bottom line is it's right around here. Kind of looks like a Holiday Inn, right? You got your glass, and that little cavity in there is your spa. And it just has tile around it, so it's custom is what I would call it. The complaint is that my GFI breaker keeps tripping. The old breaker blew, and I opened it up. It was on the neutral side, okay? Some of you guys that follow me, you electricians, this is exactly like a Sundance spa. It has no neutral. And the power's off. A lot of you guys get all scared I'm going to kill myself on my video. I appreciate that, but power's dead right now. It has a neutral too here, but it's capped. So all your components inside of this is a 240 volt contactor, which sends 240 volt to the heater. This heater was replaced 2 years ago, but as you can see, there's a little bit of rust on this grommet. Now, if this was hot, I wouldn't touch it because, of course, I would ground out from here to here, but this is dead. But right here, that grommet is already rusting in 2.5 years. Now, Colorado has hot mineral, or hard water that's mineralized, but still, it shouldn't do it that quick. On the back side of this heater, it does it too, okay? Now, understand this is a dual element, so this is going to be running about 5.4 ohms of resistance and 5.4, add them together as a series. It's going to be a 10.8 ohms of resistance, or it's going to be 1100 total wattage. Here to here is going to be 5500, okay? Here to here, 5500. Now, we made sure our ground wasn't cause of the effect, but what we finally ended up doing is moving this cap here for the capillary tubes. And when I did that, it tripped. There must be some little default of current going on there. So it led me to believe the next step was to get into my high limit. There's a high limit reset. This thing is sponge. There is no spring. It is toast. So once I pulled that out and I looked through the thermostat, I was able to duplicate it one time to get it to trip when I moved around. So there's something definitely faulting. There is a metal plate here that this element heats up and that high limit will pop and then you reset it. This is gone. When I went ahead and jumpered this little indicator light turned on. Now, I will show you this in a very quick second that if you hear this noise, this is not normal. Here's the weird thing about this spa. The motors are separate. And the heater system is separate. This should be a 2-pole 20 amp GFCI breaker. I'm asking the customer to get on eBay and look it up, because if she does, I guarantee you it's 230 bucks. But it would be pricey. Here's the heater, no issue. That kind of sounds normal. No. That sounds like one of those vacuums taken off for a central vac in a house. But if I do that 4 times, 5, you gotta let it slow down to get that centrifugal switch to click. And you can, yeah, okay, there it is. And I got it to lock rotor where it wouldn't do nothing but just go, and if it's doing that, turn it off. You're gonna melt something. So anyways, oh, you can smell it. You can't, I can. It is toast, okay? So inside of that armature, there is going to be, basically the best way to describe that to you is gonna be a shaft. And that shaft is wobbled completely out of spin. So when that centrifugal force is turning, it's wobbling. No different than a pitman arm or an axle going out in your car and the tires are out of balance, but it's really bad at that point. That's what's happening inside of it. So this is bad. So we do believe that this 240 volt line separate, it could be coming backwards to trip, but this little centrifugal pump goes right to this box and there was a ground wire in here that was loose. We tightened that. Again, we still got the GFCI 50 amp 2-pole right side of that panel you saw in the video. This was separate than this 2-pole 20 amp up here, not GFI'd, which needs to be done in the future. But we did check our continuity and our grounding. We did our Ohm's law with the pi, checking E equals I times R and all that stuff you electricians know. Everything balanced out. Definitely we got it to manifest again. So don't forget to look at your schematic. These are very helpful because this helps tell you that it is 10.9, or excuse me, 102901, 18 years ago it was put in, 11,000 kilowatt. And that will help you then starting with the resistance at 240. Remember to use the voltage that's at the appliance. It's 243 here. So 220 is not always nominal. And that guy on YouTube was blowing me up last week. You need to quit blowing me up over 220 volt. It's not. In Colorado, our voltage is higher for some reason. Maybe it's because, you know, the substations. I don't know. But it's 240 volts as an average in most homes. So it's not just 220. Yes, the NEC says that, but the nominal out here is 240. So anyways, keep in mind that if that high limit blows, that will not allow the contactor to shut nor the heater to turn on. And this then will trace through your elements in series. So that's exactly what's going on, is the high limit. Thermostat, it's on top of itself, so it might as well replace that as well. Indicator light looks good. And again, look for your grommets of rust. If you start seeing that, you've got an issue. Okay, guys, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. Let me know if you have any thoughts on this video. Always put back the schematic for the customer. She asked me to keep the cover off. We'll shut the door. We are going to kill both breakers, so the customer knows we killed them both, and shut the panel. That way, hopefully, she doesn't have any young kids that'll stick their hands in there. But we'll shut that all up. But yeah, she's going to have to get the spa guy back out here, and hopefully he might have a warranty. So always check your warranty. Most guys' warranty is going to be a year or 6 months or even 30 days on parts. But boy, I would be kicking at the manufacturer to know why that rusted out. But yes, if that one component rusts out, I always see that GFI start as a nuisance tripping. And I always get someone to say, just replace the GFI breaker, you're good. I'm like, well, you're calling me, but you're trying to diagnose it. It's not necessarily a GFI breaker. It can be. So if you're a good technician, you'll have a breaker on the truck, you'll test with that. Or if not, guys, I used my light bulb to test that and crossed power to the ground, and I got it to trip 12 times and reset, and it was doing just fine. The one thing that was a little bit odd, she said, Josh, in the sequence of this, she was home. The power company was messing with some of the power out here in the subdivision, and she said the lights were going up and down and crazy, and some of the appliances sounded abnormal, like the fridge. So that went to tell me that that could have been the fact that the GFI breaker tripped too, or it blew up, because that does affect the neutral. And in this panel, only one GFI breaker. If I had 2 or 3 and they all blew, I definitely know there could have been something there. But yeah, thanks guys for joining us. Have a good day, and we'll see you soon.